Do you know about Raju the elephant? His story is remarkable. He was held captive for over 50 years. He was shackled with chains that had spikes on it around all four of his feet. He was used as a begging elephant in the streets of India. A wildlife organization called the Wildlife SOS heard of his story and made plans to rescue him. They set out on a mission on July 3rd, and it took until the next morning, July 4th, before he was freed, because the owner was even trying to block them from freeing him. But they got through, and one by one, they started breaking his chains. As they were working with him, they kept speaking to him gently, letting him know what they were doing, letting him know he was safe. And then something extraordinary happened. Raju the elephant started crying. They could see visible tears flooding down his face. No one could believe it. It's as if after 50 years, he realized something deep inside, that he was being rescued. Someone came for him, and he's no longer trapped and stuck. I've never been able to get that story out of my mind. I think it's because I realize most of us have at least some part of us that feels similar to Raju, where we have been shackled and stuck and locked in an area of our life that we never thought we could have freedom in, let alone remember what life was like before that was so. I think we've all heard the phrase, the elephant in the room. It's that metaphor for there's something so big going on, but it's so overwhelming to us, we want to avoid it. So we will take great measure to walk around it and pretend it's not there. That same metaphor applies to something inside us. I call them our invisible elephants. Something that we have tucked deep down inside. And how it got there is because something really hard, something really confusing or painful or unexpected happened. And it was the only way we knew how to cope, to survive, to keep going. We had to ignore what was happening in order to basically stay safe, sane, and alive. And that was the healthiest thing your little self could do in that moment, was to not feel something so fully, to distance yourself, to protect yourself. And that worked, and it got you through. The problem is that elephant didn't stay small. So it could be from an incident, an experience we have had, or even an accumulation of things. And we have now a herd of elephants tromping around in our soul. It's not just unresolved, hard, painful things. It could be unchecked beliefs that can be our invisible elephant. Things like, I can't stop. I have to keep proving myself. I'm unlovable. I'm not allowed to rest. God's grace is for everyone but me. I'm too much for people. And when we are locked up with those harmful beliefs that go unchecked, it's like those elephants are trampling on our soul, even if we look fine on the outside. One of my favorite verses is John 10:10, where Jesus says, "The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but I came to give life abundantly." And I really think that the enemy, his approach to keep us from living and experiencing that abundant, unlocked, and free life is that we don't notice these little or big elephants. Because if we never notice them, we'll never cry out to be free. We'll just keep doing things, basically creating more elephants to cope. But that's not real freedom. And we end up living small and accommodating to these invisible elephants more than living an abundant life. If you found my channel, I don't think it's by accident. Maybe you're a woman who loves God and actually has done a lot of work and has a strong faith, but you still feel stuck. There's a part of you that just feels like Raju, locked, and you're not sure what the key is, how to get this piece of you set free. You might be stuck in a pattern or a relationship or a version of yourself that you hardly even recognize anymore, but you know it's not your whole story. Or maybe life has handed you something very hard and traumatic, and you don't even know where to start. This space is for you. My name is Robyn Coffman. I'm a board-certified Christian counselor with 30 years in private practice. I help women live more unlocked in their life, relationships, and faith without the overwhelm. And I'm not just speaking from my professional experience. I'm also speaking from my personal life experience. I've had some major trials and traumatic experiences that date back decades ago. I know what it's like to feel similar to Raju, where I'm trapped, stuck, like I'm held captive by something that I can't break free from. I couldn't even name it, let alone see it, until someone came alongside me and helped me name it and bring translation to it. And that's what I want to do for you. This isn't therapy, but this hopefully is a window to help you see things that have been hidden or locked or have some kind of distorted view on it that we can clean up and get more clear on so you can live more unlocked and free. I also write practical workbooks. Specifically, I have one called the Unlock More Workbook. It has 52 practical exercises you can do at your own pace for personal growth. They're just 2 pages each, so you don't get overwhelmed. I put a link to it in the description below. You can find that one and all my others on Amazon. And if you're in a really hard season and going through a trial, I've also written an in-depth Bible study called Surviving Epic Trials, 10 Lessons for Your Hardest Days from the Life of Noah. It came out of my own story, what helped me regain hope and strength and understanding to what I was going through. You can find that on Amazon too, and I also put the link below. And some of you have found me through the YouVersion Bible app, and you've done one of my free Bible plans. I'm so glad you're here. You already know the feel of how I teach, and I hope those plans have been part of your devotional rhythm. Truly, I'm here to help you live more unlocked and free without overwhelm, at your own pace, with real meaning, insight, and encouragement. And you know what I find fascinating about Raju, that elephant, is that even after 50 years of being chained, he never got so detached from himself that he could not recognize when he was being freed. I firmly believe our souls are created in the same way of that elephant. The Holy Spirit is in us and is also wanting to free us from these internal, invisible chains. And when we show up to do our part in that work of unlocking, a powerful thing happens. We find more healing, more strength for the day, and our lives become a testimony for others. We don't have to figure out our invisible elephants right now or know what to do with them, but what if we just start noticing, start looking, start becoming aware that they are there. This is what this space is for, and I'm glad you're here. If this is resonating with you, this is how we can stay connected. First, just subscribe. That way you won't miss any of my next teachings. Second, sign up for my email list. This is where I get to share a little bit more personally, not in an overwhelming way, just a few times a month, and we can stay connected there. I put a link to my website where you can sign up for that. And finally, if you want to just start getting into it, I recommend you get the Unlock More workbook. If we were sitting across from each other, that's what I'd hand you first.